Okay. Today is Tisha B'Av, the 9th day of the month of Av, a day in the Jewish calendar that God told us by the sin of the spies that we cried for nothing. I'll make this a day that you cry for something. Give you a reason to cry. That's what God says. That's what was the sin of the spies. And it was on Tisha B'Av that it happened. So many calamities befall the Jewish people. And today we fast as a result. But the important message that Chassidus brings is that in the calamity, in the darkness is really the light. Evil is not for the sake of evil. Evil is not even in order to come to good. Ultimately, evil is not because that way you could choose. Because without having evil, then you can't really make a choice to do good. Right? Yeah. So the conventional wisdom is you need the both of them so you could freely choose good. So evil is only there for the choice. And ultimately, even the evil, hopefully the evildoer will make the right choice to choose good. So it's only a means to a greater end, right? But the way Chassidus explains, as in the darkness is a greater light. In that darkness. So, we've all had an experience when we look back at something that when it happened, that it was a dark moment, and you realize that actually not that it only led to light that came from it, but it itself was light. You ever had that experience? Hmm? We've all had the experience of something that was negative, but it opened the door to something positive. You got fired from a job, but now a new job, because they got even a better job, right? You wouldn't have left the old job if you didn't get fired, for example, right? We all experience that kind of negative thing, right? But to experience um, that the negative is actually positive, that's a different story. That's a different capacity to be able to achieve. And that will be a discussion later on. Tonight, 6:30, we're going to have Torah studies. So we'll talk about that at 6:30. All right, now, welcome to Tanya. Welcome to Tanya. That was just a trailer, a teaser. Yes, join us then. Okay, welcome to Tanya. So Tisha B'Av, and like you mentioned, what divine providence. We're actually learning a mimer in the morning, right? And the mimer is Tzia b'mishpat tipade b'shabeh b'tzedakah. And the fourth letter begins by a statement in the Rambam, Maimonides. It says that Israel will be redeemed only by the virtue of tzedakah, right? And the ones who return will be redeemed, as it says that her repatriates shall be redeemed through tzedakah. So tzedakah comes from the word tzedek, meaning righteous. It's a righteous thing. The righteous thing that we need to do to bring the ultimate return from the exiles is tzedakah. Now, in another place in Tehillim, it says, tzedek lefanav yahalech. Tzedek shall go before God. Right? Referring again to tzedakah. Right? But righteousness, tzedek will go. Now, yahalech is a causative form. It's causing something to go. In other words, the tzedek, the tzedakah, is causing something to go before God. What's that? What is it? Right? It should have said appropriately, tzedek yelech, lefanav yelech. That tzedakah or righteousness will go before God. It will go before God. But yahalech is causative, meaning it's causing something else to go before God. What's it causing to go before God? That's the question. Okay? So the verse, so we went from tzedakah is how we get redeemed, right? To now tzedakah causes something to go before God that we need to understand, right? And then the verse says, also in Tehillim, another verse in Tehillim, Zacha amar libi bakshu panai, that on behalf of my heart, seek my face. Okay, so there's my heart and seeking my face. The face, that God should seek my face. So what the Alter Rebbe takes out from here is that there's two ideas of the heart, the two levels of the heart. There's the external heart and the internal heart. What does it mean? What does it mean external as far as inward? So external means a means to an end, right? So how do you get to the external of your heart? By a means. What would that means be?
Emotions.
That's your heart.
Something that your heart is drawn to.
Oh, a thought.
Your intelligence. When you use your intelligence and think about the greatness of God, that will lead to a feeling towards God.
Yeah.
That's called external. It's not a bad, we say external, it sounds like a bad thing, like, oh, you're acting externally, in other words, you're not real. So it can have a bad connotation. By Chassidim, the worst thing you can say to them, not swear to them, because not the worst thing you say, you're a chitzon, you're external. It means you're doing something as a mean. You don't mean what you're really doing, right? That's on the negative side. But here chitzonius means a means to an end. Well, in life, there's a means to an end, right? What does that mean in the heart? How do you get to the heart? It means there's a means to the heart. That's the mind. That the mind understands and thinks about, meditates upon the greatness of Hashem, that it leads to a feeling towards Hashem. That's chitzonius halev. That's the external aspect of the heart, right? And from there, you get a love of Hashem. But then there is a heart that transcends awareness and knowledge, a deeper part of the heart that the mind can't get to, right? You won't get there. It's not your understanding of God and your appreciation of God, and that will bring to that part in your heart that is deeper, right? It's the depths of the individual. So, for example, when does that touch? When do you touch that part? When do you see it in a person that are touched by it? You see it when someone got, God forbid, news about somebody and they faint, or they got news about something and they go just like they say words and they're totally senseless because their heart has been touched so deeply that they are transcending any rationality in what happened. I can picture this here when Kenneth Israel, when his son passed away, when he found out, and he came here, and he whatever it was like not a young guy. He was saying words, and it was babble because he was so deeply affected. I can picture it. So deeply affected that it touched the depths of the heart that there was no rationality in him, right? So you say things without reason, without meaning, because it touches the essence, the core of the individual, right? What does that mean in serving God, though? That's not in serving God. That's in things that touch us that way, right? What does that mean in the service of God, though? Right? How do you touch that innermost of you, right? So that's the chachma of the neshama, that of supreme chachma that transcends bina, and therefore it's the ultimate divine spark of what defines us as a yid, as a Jew. The innermost, it transcends any reason, right? It transcends any reason at all. It's a love that just emanates just because that's who and what you are in your soul, right? Like to give you an example I gave of Israel with his son, right? So attached he is to his son, so is attached, right? That a person um, so attached that it's like it's um, so much they're attached, so much you are one with your child, and that, right? That um, it's like it's you. It's a part of you. It's like you lost literally a part of you. So in this respect, the love of Hashem that the Jewish soul has is so much the identity of who you are, period. Now, here it doesn't mean, we gave the example of what it means in human terms. That's the end of today's Tanya. We're going to go further into what that means to touch the core of your heart, which is your identity, your very being, right? The internal heart, as opposed to the external part that defines you. And what does that mean? How do you serve God with that, right? Transcending any reason, logic, rationale. But for that, we're going to have to wait. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Any questions, any comments? Let's see, anybody here online have a question? No. All right, folks, 6:30, God willing, we'll have here. And if we all do tshuva, then we'll have food.
God willing, yes.
Then we'll have food.
Okay.
If we don't do tshuva,
We have to wait for breakfast.
you have to wait. Yeah, but we'll be here and online.
Thank you.
All right, folks.
Thank you so much.